Please help me welcome today's keynote speaker, Violetta Rios, Distinguished Toastmaster, Region Advisor for Region 3.
I will jump. Thank you. Microphone, here's a clicker. Everyone's excited. Thank you for that warm welcome. For me, it's very exciting to be here in Phoenix, District 3, because the only time I had been here was at the airport. And that was a long time ago. I think I was 12 years old, and we were on our way to San Francisco. So this could count as my first real time in Phoenix. Are we ready, Peter? So as part of my visit to District 3, I had an amazing day with David yesterday. Thank you, David. I have only one kid sister, and when we were kids, it was easy for me to boss her around. I'm 3 years her senior. And I would tell her, go to bed. I never imagined myself telling an adult man, go to bed. But I knew it was going to be a long drive. And at 9 p.m. on Thursday night, I told him, David, it's 9 p.m. You have a long drive tomorrow. Go to bed. That is the most awkward thing I've ever said. Thank you, David, for putting up with that. And I will figure out how the clicker works. Now, be warned, clickers and I have never been friends. So if I go back and forth, please do not stress. Probably David will, because he will be supporting me on the other side. As a region advisor, one of my missions has been to support the districts achieving excellence, to get that district success plan and make sure it is as real as possible so that the goals they've set up for this year come true. And they've been working very, very hard to build these clubs, to make stronger clubs, and that will be distinguished by the end of this year. Hopefully, what did we say, Jim? June 7th? June 6th?
Yes.
Thank you, Jim. I love the fact that Jim, when we're on the district director calls, he always is cheering us up, motivating us, but he always agrees to the deadlines. So I believe, and I am convinced, that District 3 will be distinguished probably by June 7th. Yeah. So as region advisor, what I've been doing is providing or facilitating training to the districts, and it's been an amazing experience. But today, to me, it's extra special, because I will speak about one of my favorite topics, and I will share with you what the joys of mentoring are. Not only will I share the experience, but also give you a few tips and tricks. So if you want to have your notebook handy or the slides, I will share them, of course. But if you want to write something down or take a screenshot, it's perfectly fine. If you have questions, please feel free to ask, because I will forget probably by the end. So if you have a question at that moment, please raise your hand. That way I can acknowledge the question. And of course, why is this special? Well, because this is the first time one of my mentors is in the audience. So until the end, I will acknowledge her. So it'll be a surprise. Not for her, of course, but probably for you. I like opening presentations with quotes. Usually it's Harry Potter, who I use, but not today. Have you ever had someone that believes in you? And when we were children, we should build children up with healthy things, telling them they're strong, telling them they're smart, telling them they're capable of achieving everything. But unfortunately, we didn't come with an instruction manual. And sometimes we are programmed to believe what everything we do is wrong. And it takes someone, just that someone, to believe in us, that we can do anything. Sometimes it's a coach. Sometimes it's a teacher. Someone, it's mom and dad. But whoever that person is, that person, directly or indirectly, has inspired you. And if they follow up with you, they have become your mentors. Peter, which one is it? Up or down?
Down. That side will work.
Okay. All right. So this is where I like to start at the beginning, and when we get to the end, we'll stop. So You can thank the King of Hearts for saying that when he told that to Alice. So first is finding a mentor, then becoming a mentor. And there are two things I enjoy the most. Mentoring champions. As in Toastmasters, we have champions of speaking. And training or mentoring leaders. Those are my 2 cups of tea. So what is a mentor? Does anyone have a simple answer that is not listed on the slides? David, are we okay?
Support.
Okay, do you want me to go slower?
No, it's scratch.
Okay.
Someone who finds the best in you.
I like that answer. Someone who finds the best in you. Okay, does anyone else have another definition of what is a mentor? Yes, ma'am.
Your own personal leader.
Your own personal leader, all right.
Somebody that helps you.
Somebody that helps you. Is there any other answer, guess?
An encourager.
An encourager. A personal cheerleader. I don't know where Jim's baton is, but they usually have a personal baton. They either whip us with it or, cheer us on. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Oh no, I was just going to say a person who takes what you think might be a negative trait and actually finds the positive in it.
Perfect. They focus on your strengths instead of your areas of opportunity or areas of development. I don't like to say that, the other words, but I'll be honest with you. Even in the workplace, when we head there, everybody dreads the performance review because they don't focus on what our strengths are. They focus on what we do wrong. And this is the best kept secret about performance and talent development. If we would focus on the individual's strengths, those areas of development will start shrinking because we are helping them blossom. Instead, we're reminding them consistently how bad they are at what they do. And if we have a negative mindset, that chip will continue for as long as that person breathes until someone tells them that's not true. And they believe in them. So a mentor is your guide. They help you be successful. Now here's one thing. I don't agree on all the literature there is about mentoring. Some people say that the relationship with your mentor should have a specific timeline. I disagree. Although the relationship will end when both parties determine it is a time to end the relationship. I will tell you what I believe later. So finding a mentor. Yep, it's like looking for a job or looking for a perfect job description. You first have to find the person you look up to. And it's not like you're going to put up an ad on the newspaper. Mentor wanted. There has to be something you like about that person. Whether it's the way they express themselves, whether it's the way they lead a group, the way they find success, even in the most difficult situations. And sometimes, I don't know if it's happened to you, but I've heard myself say to myself, when I grow up, I want to be like that. Has it ever happened? But what have we done to grow up and become that person or like that person? Very few have the courage to ask for help. We just keep on guessing, go looking for self-help books, or keep on making the same mistakes. You have to study the person. How is this person successful? Is it the way they use their voice? Is it the way they inspire? The word they use? The way they set up goals and they make them achievable for everyone? Or simply, it's just their nature and they're people. And you like to be around that person. And then you'll go around saying, I'm an introvert. Yeah, so am I. And I'm here this morning with you. It can be done. Only if you want to. What did I break? If I break something, just let me know. Look at that. Once you find this person, you have to learn that not everything is going to be perfect. If it were easy, it wouldn't be worth it. And I learned that from a very, very young age. So here's a story, and this is true, and I think Peter mentioned something about Facebook. The day I became program quality director, I grabbed Facebook, And I was looking at the structure of the trio. I was like, who could mentor a program quality director? Would it be a past district director or a past program quality director? Now, I was at risk. I posted this on Facebook. And I got an answer. And the answer was short and sweet. And it said, from an RA. By that point, I only knew 2 RAs. One was the one that answered. And she's right there in the back or in the middle. Thank you, Rose. So it wasn't just that interaction of who can mentor an PQD, an RA. Done, it's magic. No, of course not. I had to ask. Do you have time? Do you want to? Are you willing to put up with me? She said yes, I was lucky. She said yes, and the adventure began. And it's been an adventure because, of course, geography, the distance, my district is different from hers, but there are a lot of things along the journey that we have shared. It hasn't always been sweet, and there have been times where she's had to tell me, you have to clean up your act. And then, of course, what do we do when we get mad? And you walk away, and you ghost people because you're perfect. You can't be wrong. Why does my mentor think I'm wrong? Who chose? Never mind, I chose her. Yep. In the wise words of one of my first mentors, Carlos Serrano, it was funny, and then I realized it was true. Those who love you will make you cry. The first time he said that to me, oh, look. I was like, okay, what did I do? And he just said, sit down. You see, mentoring is not all sugar and spice and everything nice. Mentoring is finding that leadership challenge that you have, getting you to accept it, embrace it, and walk out successfully like a champion. We don't deny our mistakes. We don't deny what happened in the past, but we grow from it, and we become better persons from it. So, if our mentor tells us we're wrong, or there's something we can do better, don't hide. There is experience behind that advice. There is wisdom. And we have Master Yoda. Now, just because we have a mentor, we don't have to have him sit there and just watch us and share the pictures and share all the good stuff. There comes one day where you actually have to sit down and say, okay, I'm ready. And when you're ready, you're going to hear everything. All of the feedback, all the good, of course, how you can grow. Because most of them, I will kind of, sometimes. They will never tell you, you did this wrong. They will always look on how you can be better. It's not that it was wrong, it's just that you could have done it different. So last but not least, there needs to be a commitment. And this is a personal story. My very, very first mentor, Ileana Alvarado, 15 years ago, we started that adventure as my mentor. We stayed in touch, but she wasn't actively mentoring me until last year. Now, she's been the person that has been helping me fix my life, as she is my life coach. And one day I got sloppy, and I started missing our meetings, and we started late, and I stopped doing what I had to do. Until one day she picked up the phone and she said, we need to talk. I'm going to stop coaching you. Like, what? But why? I don't have time for you. And believe it or not, there is a heart in here, and it broke into a million little pieces. And I asked her, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? You're careless. You don't care about the advice I'm giving you. You are not taking action. You are going back to your reckless ways. And I don't like seeing you like that. Now, this is a person that has known me almost half of my life, and she can tell my mood by the way I write. It's a very dangerous thing to have her on Facebook as one of my friends, but she knows me very, very well. So she said, I want you to think about it, but as of today, it's over. I'm not coaching you anymore. I was this close to crying, just this close. And then I looked back, where had I been careless? And there is one thing where Ileana takes care of me, or mentors me. She oversees my health. And she had been seeing what I had been eating, and what I had been drinking, and the time I was posting, because she wants me to go to bed at 11:30 at night, right, David? So I realized I was being careless with myself. I called her back 2 days later, and I said, I'm ready. She said, are you ready for what? I'm ready to commit to the program. And we have a certain date, a certain hour, where we meet, and we go over everything that we discuss, our plan. And by the time I began preparing for mid-year training, RAs prepare at least 2 months in advance for district leader training or mid-year training, where our trios go and get their training refresher. And the time of the training is exactly the same time that we had scheduled our call. And before she even said anything, I called her up and I said, look, Ileana, I am going through this. I need 6 weeks off, but I promise that as soon as this is over, I will be back. That's all she wanted. All she needed was me to care as much as she cared about me. So when you have a mentor and you're going through the cycle, care about it. Because that person is investing in the most valuable thing, and we don't see it. And us. You are the most valuable thing to your mentor. When they have that relationship with you, you are their most valuable person at that point and at that moment. And I don't know, I flipped this around, so if I go back, there we go. So there comes a point in your life when you have the experience, when you've walked a certain journey, and then you see someone bright, shiny, and new, and say, this one needs help. They walk in the door, oh God, I walked in like that 5 years ago. How many of you have seen that at your club? At work. It doesn't have to be at Toastmasters exclusively. At work. Or at any other volunteer organization that you're in. There's someone out there that reminds you. It's that younger version of yourself. So you decide to do what somebody did for you. You're paying it back. You're going to become a mentor. Dun, dun, dun. So how do you decide to become a mentor? Well, first of all, you find the poor individual that needs help. And then you have to ask yourself the biggest question. What do I have to offer? Now, I did see a lot of hands that are already on pathways, right? When you complete level 2, there is a complete mentoring program. It's included there. I strongly encourage you to complete it. It is an amazing experience. And it does have a time frame. It's a 6-month time frame. Did someone raise their hand, or was it my imagination? Okay, no. Your experience. You can't talk to someone else about something you've never done. Let's be realistic. We have to walk the walk and talk the talk. If you're going to show them how to do things, it's because you already either messed up, learned from it, or you did it successfully. There are 2 ways to go around it. Your expectations. What do you expect from this person? I would say I expect greatness, but that's too idealistic. I expect them to find the better version of themselves, whatever that version is to them. And we will never live up to our parents' expectations, and maybe not even our own. But to someone else, we become a better person. And that alone is priceless and gold. That person can become gold because you decided to invest time and a little bit of effort into them. You have to set goals for them. It's not all right, so I'm going to mentor you, and one day, just watch what I do, and here we go. I like using the GROW method. Have you heard about it? There was once, I think 2 years ago, where everybody wanted to do coaching and everybody wanted to get certified as a coach, and it was the big thing. One of the coaching cycles is called GROW. And I like it because it's very easy to use and very easy to remember. The G is for your goal. So the first thing I want you to do is shoot for the stars, go get that moon. Once we go up there, the R is for reality. So let's come back down to earth. Where are we? So we know already where you want to go, but we're also aware of where we are today. The O, it should be a double O, but the real one, the one that you find in the books, is obstacles. But I like to use another one, which is opportunities. What are your opportunities between your reality and your goal? Right now, when Michael was talking about division director, somebody asked, what do I need to do to get there? Okay, club president, vice president of education. Go find that opportunity if you haven't had the experience yet and you want to be one day a division director. That's your opportunity. Maybe the obstacle is you haven't done it yet. So we have to walk the path. Last but not least, this is the real one. This is where things get absolutely real. The W. Anyone have an idea what the W might be? What? Work. Why? What? Will. When there is a will, there is a way. You have to set a time. You have to set a date. You have to commit to it. It's not going to happen by magic. And it's not something you can say, okay, this is going to happen in 5 years. If you really want to do something, set yourself a realistic time frame, whether it be 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, 2 weeks, I don't know. But it has to be absolutely real, that you can work on it, and by the end of that time frame, you can say, check. So now we have a methodology to set expectations and goals. Milestones. There will be a moment when you set the perfect goal, and it looks perfect in writing, but maybe not in real life. Maybe not all the opportunities are there. Maybe there are a bunch of little stones on the road. But if there was progress, we have to celebrate progress, because at least the individual is making an effort to change and get closer to that goal. So maybe you'll have to update the end of your time frame. But it's just an update. There was progress. So every single milestone, you have to celebrate it and remind the person it's a journey. It's not a magic trick. Last but not least, feedback. Bless you. If there was something that your mentee or your protege did that could have been done differently, or that could be done better, or that in your experience it was done some other way, first of all, label them. I think, I believe, this is what worked for me. Don't just go out there and tell them, do this. This happened because you didn't do that. No, we're not there to judge them, but we're there to provide the feedback and help them become better at that. So it's always, this is what worked for me. I think this could help you. This is what happened to me. That might help. And after the feedback, if we're good mentees, we should always tell them, you know what, last time you told me to read this book, I did read it. I didn't like it. Not all advice is perfect. But there will be times when, you know what, last time you told me to do this, I did it just like you said. I followed every single one of your steps, and guess what? It worked. You were right. So sometimes we'll get feedback on our feedback. What worked and what didn't. Do you think this is good for becoming a mentor? Do you think that you have what it takes to become a mentor? Perfect. This is where it gets interesting. I have to confess, you will never find pictures of me on stage. No, okay. Let me rephrase. Oh, Don, turn off that camera. You will never find pictures of me on stage participating in a contest. I rephrased it properly. No, I don't like it. I'll say it. Rose, please don't hit me. I'm not good at it. However, I am a very good judge. And I have trained 6 generations of the sharpest judges in my district. And how do I know? Because I've been able to go to the semifinals and to the World Championship of Public Speaking, and I know the order of who is going to win. And I've even known who is out of time, just with watching the speech, no stopwatch, and the ballot with me. So the very first time, and there's this thing to it. Back in the day when I was young and innocent, a long time ago, my club was an English club. So my club members never wanted to compete against me. They said it was unfair for a native speaker to compete against ESL speakers. So you know what, I'm gonna step back. You guys run the show. So I decided to help them. I studied the ballot. I memorized all 4 ballots. Back in the day in my district, we had 4 contests. But my favorite contest is, of course, the International Speech Contest and the Evaluation Contest. There is nothing more perfect than watching someone provide the most encouraging feedback to someone else. When they make it about the person on stage and not about them. When they tell them, this was a wonderful speech, but it could still be better. So the first time, we chartered in November-ish, so we were late for the contests. It was back in the day when we still had 2 conferences in fall and in spring. And I remember my very first protégé, she walked on stage, we were having a rehearsal. I believe in rehearsals. She crashed. She wasn't able to say beyond her first sentence. She walked off stage. We were only 2 people watching her. So nobody saw this. You know what? Take a deep breath. Let's do it again. So I'm not perfect. Oh, no. You do it again on stage. She finished her speech. She did it again. She did it again. And she did it again. When we finally had the contest, of course, she was our first place. When we moved on to area, she took second. When we went on to division, she took first. So off she went to the district conference. I was texting her because I couldn't go. It was in Cancun, lovely Cancun, I missed it. And she told me, I lost. And I made the promise, and me and my big mouth, if you get to the same place next year, I will be with you all the way. Be careful with what you promise your mentees. They remember absolutely everything and they will hold it against you. So the next year, there we were again. But the next year I had learned, and I recorded her on video. And we watched her. And we took off the audio. And then I made her close her eyes and just listen to her. She did it again. I took her to 5 different auditoriums or 5 different stages. First place in the club, first place in the area, division, district. What? You won the district? What? We're going to Las Vegas. Ay, ay, ay. Now you expect your first participation, or maybe not, being at the international convention to be as a district leader. That was my expectation, that one day in the near future, when I am part of the trio, I will go to an international convention. No, I was there supporting my district champion at the semifinal. It was a journey because she was stressed and she cried, and then we had to pick up the pieces. Now she is old enough to be my mother, but she's my mentee. So it's really interesting when they see us together, who's mentoring who? And we both, you're like, that way. We were at Las Vegas at the semifinal. I took the Lucky Charm with us. The Lucky Charm is in the form of her son. That was my secret weapon. I had him right there, really close to the stage with her. She lost the semifinal to none other than Jock Elliott, who became the world champion of public speaking that year. And that year at the final, at the championship, I was crying my eyes out. And then I heard, this one is out of time. That speech is out of time. It's a wonderful speech, but it's out of time. How do you know? It's out of time. They mentioned it when they were talking about, when they were about to give the results. Many, many years later, my theory was confirmed. There was a speech, it was the speech I thought, and it was out of time. And then I knew I had it in me. This is Paulina. Paulina started her journey in Toastmasters 2 years ago. Paulina's from Guadalajara, and I am from Monterrey, so this is an hour and a half flight. Of course, no, I don't go to her house every weekend. Facebook, Zoom, WhatsApp, whatever, we got it. She was getting ready for her final. She won the district final. She went to Chicago 2 years ago. I'm bad at time, but it was at Chicago. And she called me and she said, I need your advice. You need my advice? Go to bed early. Go to bed early, take care of your voice, get your hours of sleep, go walk that stage. If you've ever been to a semifinal, the audience is kind of like this, split out. The contestants are on one side, and there is a very special row in the back. And that row in the back has pieces of paper that says, reserved for guest, the name of your champion. So I was walking in with my division director and her daughter. And she said, hey, Paulina's over there. I'm just going to go say hi. She's there, dressed in white. Will you stay with me? Oh, I don't want to stay with you. That was in my head. She didn't see this face. What happened? My mom couldn't make it, and my boyfriend didn't make it. You want me to stay? Please? Okay. I'm going to go with Paulina. Give me my purse. So I sat with her at the semifinal. District 81, the Caribbean, they were screaming the house out. When she comes back, I tell her, you rocked it. She's like, what do you mean I rocked it? You were good. When everyone finishes, I put my hand like a claw, like, you know, Mother Crow, on her shoulder. You're third place. Oh no, she was offended. I'm third. Yes. He was better than you. She was better than you. You're third. So we were sitting there. I was talking with District 81. We were having a great time talking about a mutual friend. And all of a sudden, they started announcing the winners. And the first person they named was Paulina. Paulina looked at me and she said, Bruja. Bruja, for those of you that don't know, is witch in Spanish. Like, there is no witchcraft and sorcery here. I might be a Slytherin, but I did not cast a spell on any of those judges. They signed their agreement. They were honest. There was integrity in this, but I knew she was third place. She was the first Mexican to make it in place out of semifinal. So that third place trophy tasted like first. Of course, she now knew that there was someone else that could help her train in Mexico, because she has another coach. She sends me her speech. We do it again, go back and forth. And one of my favorite methods with her is she does her speech, I do my speech. I do her version of the speech with my intonations, my ups and downs. And there's one point where at her new speech, I tell her, are you sure you're going to say this? She says, yes, I'm really, really sure. This will make you break down and this will make you cry. I'm just letting you know. And I went in, did the same recording, and I broke down. And I was the one that was crying. I only arrived to the district conference to watch her. That was the only reason I was there. Just never tell. Not on Facebook, no. I was there for her. I didn't want to go to the gala. I did not want to go to the business meeting. I was there for my champion. Because to me as Mother Goose, it's very important to be there for them. That is a double version of the picture. That is her first place trophy. Yes, she did break down on stage. She knew it. We knew it was going to happen. But we also knew exactly what to do to overcome it. The secret? Pause. Take a deep breath and gently move on. The audience will wait. Just make sure that red doesn't come on. Paulina did not make it past the regional, but she is considering competing again. So I know she will be at my door eventually, sooner or later. This is my favorite part. And please, 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 don't ever let anyone tell you you're not good enough to be a leader, that you're not old enough to be a leader, that you're not experienced enough to be a leader. This picture is around 3 or 4 years old. Those baby faces are real baby faces. These are the youngest area directors District 34 has had. Carolina was 19, Gabriel was 20, Paul was 19 as well. They are extremely opposite from me geographically. I'm in the north, they are in Veracruz, in the south, all 3 of them. They were elected area directors. We hold area director elections. So, came to a point where we were looking at the names, and I recognized them because they were very strong club presidents. It was obvious that they were going to be there. Carolina comes from a family of area and division directors. Her father was division governor when I was in a PQD, and he was an area director when my mentor was a district governor. So I knew him, and as a conversation I had with her father, you know what's implied in district leadership. So I'm going to support her. I expect you as her dad to support her. With the 3 of them, of course, I faced a very similar challenge that I remembered. You look too young. We taught Carolina how to dress. What was the appropriate clothes for her age, but to look professional in front of a club where most of the members were old enough as her father, where she had to command respect and authority because she was an area director, and not fall into temptation of using that badge or that pin, but just using her skills in leadership. Gabriel had it relatively easy, but his biggest challenge was that his area was made up of college clubs. He was one of them. How could one of them now be leading them? But he's their friend. So we had to teach Gabriel the differences between being my friend and my colleague at school, but here I am your area director and I expect results. Paul faced a similar challenge to Carolina. He had all of the older members in his clubs. And when I say older, they're old enough to be their dads or their moms or their grandparents even. We have a very active member that is 95 years old. He is learning how to get on pathways. That was the sweetest thing ever. That last time I saw him in Veracruz, he was like, guess what I'm doing? What are you doing? I'm going to school to learn how to use a computer. Yes, that was the first, oh, why? I want to learn pathways. Okay, sure. Of course, I used him as an example with the rest of the district. Like, he's learning how to use a computer at 95. I can't believe you can't do it. But it didn't turn out the way I wanted to. You have to understand their goal. And I asked them, at the end of this year, what do you want? And of course, everybody will tell you, and past district leaders will remember as well, I want to be distinguished or better. Okay? How are you going to do it? With you? No, don't blame me. So as many as incentives that the district could have, you need to have that magical W in the grow. They have to have the will to do it. Of course, when you're an area director, it's not all you. You have to have your clubs on board with the idea of being distinguished. Your clubs have to agree with you that they have to accomplish excellence, that each and every single one of their meetings will be amazing, that everyone will go home inspired, or at least with an idea and a thought that was like, you know what, this is why I'm a Toastmaster at this club, because it's special, because I learned this, because I did that, and because I can bring someone here and they'll enjoy it as much as I can. By the time the year ended, one of my happiest moments was seeing them happy at whatever was accomplished. Yes, they did submit their visits on time. I threw the whip at them. I was like Jim, I had my baton with me and then I would throw it at them left and right. But there was one thing they came and told me. I learned how to dress. I learned how to lead above. Maybe not by rank, but by age. Now you have to remember, culturally speaking, age for us is the highest authority. And it was nearly impossible for them to ask someone their parents' age, get this done by this date. The clubs respected them. Not because Carolina was Marco's daughter, but because she was the area director. Today, Carolina graduated from 2 majors. She graduated from communication science, and she's also a professional makeup artist. Gabriel is a division director. He finally stepped back up into leadership. And Paul is teaching Taekwondo. All 3 of them are DTMs, among the youngest DTMs that we have in our district. So what's in it for you as a mentor? These are my chiquipoos. This picture is from 3 weeks ago in Puebla. Salma, Ili, and Carolina. I promise you, was anyone here a Pathways ambassador or a Pathways guide? It was awesome. Visiting those clubs and sharing the goods. And then there was a special perk at the end. Your service as a guide or as an ambassador counted as service to the district. So you didn't need to go out there and be, again, an area director or a division director. You had that magical cookie point for your DTM. At the end of that year, I was really happy because I saw all of them successfully complete their task, and then they told me, I'm going to become an area director. I spent a year with you as a Pathways guide because you didn't want to be an area director, and now you're telling me you want to do it. Why? And someone said, you should have been excited at that moment. And I should have. But my first reaction was, why? You avoided this for so many years. Why? I like how you do it. No. All 3 of them became area directors. They had good years. And every time we see each other, yes, we have those big grins on. What's in it for me? Believe it or not, we learn so much from our mentees. And I love the moment where we can have reverse mentorship, which is they are the ones holding the lessons. And they're like, you're wrong. Who let you tell me that? Oh yeah, I did. We were going to have an open communication. So you learn from them and you learn through them how things have worked out, because sometimes you don't have the same path they do, but you watch what they're doing and you see the steps you take by someone else, and you see them actually work. So you can now start even writing it down as a system. Of course, it keeps you active. It keeps you alive. The time that had elapsed from me being a division governor to program quality director was approximately 4 years, give it or take. So those 4 years were the 4 years I invested in training judges, in training champions. I was still active, but I was not in leadership. I was helping others become that champion they wanted to be. So it keeps you on your toes. It also keeps you on your toes knowing how policy and the rules have changed. Because sometimes you'll eventually bump into someone that knows the rules, but from 10 years ago. Because that was the last time they were active and they knew everything. Or so we thought. But every year, our rules change. Our organization is changing at every single moment. Believe me, we sometimes get updates that are like, now what? So yes, it does keep you active. It does keep you on your toes. I just love that picture. But the most important thing, what's in it for you as a mentor? It gives you that feeling that you have done something right for someone else. That you have helped your district become stronger because someone is strong. And for those of us that think that we're the only ones that can do things right, if we mentor someone and that are just as good or even better than we are, we know that the day we're gone, whatever we're doing, whatever position we held, will be in good hands because we trained those hands. And they learned from our mistakes, and they learned from every single one of our successes. If I have been blessed to see beyond whatever I thought, it's because I've been standing on the shoulders of giants. I am a spoiled brat, and I say it proudly. The day of my district conference, when I left as district director, the 4 most important men in my life, aside of my dad, were there. You might recognize the first gentleman, top left. If you don't, because I was squishing his face, that's Tim Swearingen, my mentor as my year in district director. Because my PQD year was exclusively for Rose. That was all yours, Rose. Rodolfo Catalan, past district governor from District 34. He was the one that taught me how politics should be done. Smile, be graceful, take it outside. Bottom left, Juan Carlos Camacho, past district governor, the man who taught me how to read the dashboard, how to do numbers. Wishes are wonderful, but when you have the numbers in your hand, you know exactly where you will get to. Carlos Serrano, the first club growth director in District 34, and the man that told me, those who love you will make you cry. Oh yes, I dedicated my 4th DTM to him. It was registered on his birthday. And well, this is a picture from Thursday night. If you could see, I was smiling like a spoiled brat because I was with my toasty mom and toasty dad. I am very fortunate. One of the objectives of this keynote, or this talk, is to encourage you to go out there and find someone to support you along your journey. And if there is someone out there that you know that might benefit from your experience, take them under the wing. Sometimes they don't need to ask you. You are going to go get them, grab them by the collar. We're going to have a talk. Thank you.